Well, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. I said, hey, look, I'm going to be by myself, and I don't like that. So I said, Dana, come in and hang out with me today.
Yeah.
And for the next couple of weeks when you can.
Oh, forever when I can.
Forever. So, hey, thank you for saying yes.
Oh, why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
It's such a joy.
Right? Hang out in the studio.
Of course.
You know, even Philip is out of town during the week this week.
Right.
He'll be here this weekend, but he is taking a breather, which he should after that 4th of July show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that was like finale after finale after finale.
It was.
Yeah.
You think, oh, this must be it. It's the best, and then something even better comes along.
Even better. Is it archived?
It is at least saved on the Curate website. I'm sure we have something somewhere.
You see it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and tickets are available to watch it on demand.
It's incredible, not kidding.
Yeah, it is worth the $15 to watch it on demand, without a doubt.
For sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, your life has changed.
Yes, it has.
So, what have you been doing and what's different?
Well, so I finally was able to retire from Clark County School District.
How many years?
24.
24 years.
And I'm only 30 years old. So,
I know, that's amazing.
You know.
It's amazing. You were an early bloomer.
I was,
right?
That's right, that's right. And I just had my last students for summer school this past Friday, and they were the most delightful students I had ever had in probably my 24 years. So it was all meant to be. Thank you, Jesus.
So it was a good ending.
It was the best ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to miss?
Working with the kids, except I'm going to go back and sub as a substitute teacher. Maybe, 2 days a week. I love being with those crazy children. Yeah. Especially junior high students.
I thought she was going to say the paycheck, but I'm glad you said the students.
Oh, no, I get, hey, thank you, Clark County, to give us a pension.
That's
so
right, exactly.
I'm super happy.
That is good.
Yeah, and then now I'm more available. Oh, my goodness, my life, it will change forever. That's what I said to all my friends. Because I'll be here more.
And that's what we had talked about. We knew this was coming down the road, and so we've already had some initial discussions about, with Dana having more time.
Yep.
What would you like to do hanging out with us at church?
And that's just everything.
So here we are, and this was really very much so the very first thing on the plate was, you just finished summer school.
And then I get to come to CLC during the day. For the meetings and then do the broadcast, which very excited.
So Tuesday is our meeting day, as you know, so it's a full day all the way through. And now you have the flexibility to come and be with us through our meetings and brainstorm and plan and all that kind of stuff. So let me ask you a different question. So we just started KCLC radio sermon series. This is our 6th year.
That's unbelievable.
And even last week we had at least a half a dozen people asking us, is that coming back? When are we doing KCLC? Church members. So you have been a part of this throughout the years.
Yes.
We always ask you, and you will be doing something in August, because we're going to do this for 6 weeks.
That's right.
So you're already slated beyond leading worship.
Yes.
What's your favorite part of KCLC?
First, finding out what all songs that you've picked and how it's going to be framed and fit into a beautiful message that just kind of transcends the typical service with the music. It goes beyond that because it's so nostalgic for so many people.
And I appreciate that, because one of the things that even 4, 5, 6 years ago, I always do a little snippet of history.
Yes, I love that.
So if we go back to a certain year, here are the things that were happening in that year. And within that, most of us of a certain vintage would remember that year when you go, oh yeah, that was the year of...
Ooh, I just got chills.
Right, this and that.
Yeah.
And so it is fun to take a step backwards into that, set the context for the song.
Right.
And then we get to hear somebody, and everybody who does work with us, and and whether it's internal or external, do a fantastic job.
Right.
And so we get to hear a song interpreted by one of our many talented people,
Right.
including you, and get to step out of that and then into, oh, there's a natural biblical message contained in this secular song.
That's my question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you, I mean, obviously you're a connoisseur of fabulous songs. You remember from your entire lifetime
Yeah.
of listening to music. How in the world do you pick those songs that have that message, that biblical message, the tie-in, the references that so fit today's messages that you
It's
give?
multi-stepped. It's not all at once. So we've learned that because this repeats itself, we've gotten to a place where people ask for this, so we know we're going to do it. So throughout the year, a song may pop up on the radio, and I have satellite radio. It's usually standard in newer cars, so I have satellite radio. A song will pop up, and I may hear it for the first time because I'm thinking about KCLC. And I'll go, wait a minute, these lyrics are so good. There is a message in the lyrics. And so I'll go and put it on my potential, I have a potential KCLC list
Smart.
because I won't remember them. If I hear a song in September, I will not remember it for next July.
Of course.
So I write it down, just the name and the title and that, and then we'll come back and I'll look at those. And even before we even connect a message to it, we have to put it through the funnel of the music staff, right? Keith, Philip, Robbie, you, you know, me, Brian, you know, and we have to go, is there any possibility that we can do these songs with somebody, you know, connect the dots? Because if we can't find somebody to do the song, we can't do the song. So first it's like we got the right message in the lyrics. Now we start connecting people to it. Once we have that, because I don't want to do any work on a song if I can't actually preach on it.
Right.
Right?
Of course.
You know?
course.
So we'll get all of that, and we know that all the songs that are being put forward all have a message, so something will come out of it. So once we do that, and then we decide when's Pastor Brian preaching, when am I preaching, we got all that, you know, logistical stuff. Then I'll sit down with the song, and I'll just start brainstorming notes of where are the intersections in Scripture that really intersect with this song. And I might have 2 or 3 ideas and go, no, not that one. No, not that one. This one I think can work. And I'll start fleshing out the theme of the song with a biblical. Usually I try to, at least this year, have a biblical story versus just biblical instruction.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
there's instruction and sometimes
Stories
there's
are
narrative.
good.
And so, so far in the next 2, so starting this week and the following week, I have 2 stories that illustrate the next 2 songs that their theme overlap. So we can extract the lyrics from the song and say, look how if we go back 2, 3, 4,000 years, this same theme is working in the life of this person.
That's what fascinates me.
Yeah.
How you take a song that all of us sang, all of us know the lyrics to, and all of a sudden you just twist the lens a little bit and see it differently.
And you see that song in a whole new way.
And then it's like all I want to do is go listen to that song again with my new fresh perspective.
Right. And so we'll take those pieces and put them all together. And then, of course, with the song woven into the message, because we do a little bit of it, just becomes something new. And what invariably happens, and it happened this week, invariably happens is someone will have their radio on and then hear that song
What?
and be like, for example, on Sunday afternoon, Rachel is out running errands
No.
and she hears Waiting on the World to Change
What?
on the radio.
Thank you, Jesus.
So she she takes a picture on her phone. She wasn't driving, she was at a stoplight, takes a picture of it, And of course, she immediately sends it to me and to Robbie, because Robbie sang it this
Yeah.
weekend, and said, "Look what just came on the radio." And if that isn't a God moment to remind somebody of, I just heard about that earlier today.
Yep.
I mean, isn't that pretty wild?
Oh, it's such a pleasurable experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really is, when you say it's not as clean a process as you would think. It's like, we get a song, we got to figure out who can sing it, then we got to get a date that works. Then I finally can like start molding the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so for the next 2 weeks, I have both the outline and the song, plus I already have, the wheels are already turning.
Yep.
Because, Sunday's never more than 6 days away.
Yes.
Right? So, and that's the thing. We've talked about this before in here, is it is amazing to me that we as a church staff, we have to turn things around every week. There's no like, just plug it in, what we did last week, we'll do it again. It is a new experience every week with different music, a different book report.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we bring, as you all know, everybody puts all of their heart into what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Everybody. And when you think about, if you compared that to, and it's not worship, but if you compared that to, let's say, an artist who is on tour, all they have to do is put out the set list and then redo it everywhere they go for the next 6 months or a year or whatever, however long they're on tour. And they'll, obviously it'll nuance, it'll be sharpened, it'll get, but we have to turn the page every week.
That's the hardest part of the job.
Yep. And sure, I mean, we have a list of songs of things we know, and then sometimes new stuff's introduced, but it's never the same.
No.
It's never the
Never.
same. And you have 1 week
Yeah. Or less.
or less to put all that together thematically and make it work. And so it is always it's an honor, it's a pleasure, it's amazing to work with so many talented people in one place that there's hardly ever a time when someone says we can't do that.
Yeah. We're blessed that way.
Yeah. Or we can do that here, but let's do this here, but that is even better than what this was. And that doesn't happen in very many places, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's you do the best you can, but here, every week we have something special. Something special.
And somehow, because I've been on that receiving end, hey, we're just changing something up here, and I'm a planner.
you are, that's
You know
right.
that about me. And it was
She owns stock in highlighters,
oh my
just so you know.
I-
I've seen it.
They make fun of me every week, but I'm telling you, and even with the highlighting everything, so I don't lose my place or whatever, I still lose my place occasionally just because that's me. But it's still, I just pray and just say, okay, Lord, just be with me as I do this. If you ever see me back there, it looks like I'm muttering. I'm talking to God. Hold my
right. Here we
my
go.
cross.
Here we go.
And every time, man, it just comes through.
It comes together.
So it works.
Yep. And you've heard me talk about the fact that every Sunday we have a staff meeting, worship staff meeting, before we come upstairs for the entire mornings. It's the only time we really get any time to do anything. We go through everything, but then we pray.
Yeah.
We stop and we pray, and it is not word for word the same prayer, but thematically the same prayer. We just ask God to use us,
Yep.
and we ask God to open hearts for people to receive what God's going to offer them through us.
Yep.
And that is all we care about. We want God to change lives, and all we're doing is trying to be that vessel so that God can work through us.
Exactly.
The end. We have our laughs together. We have a great sense of humor. We have camaraderie. we tease each other.
Oh my.
Don't waggle your finger at me. But at the end of the day, we all know what the most
That's right.
important thing is.
It's taken me years to not be so scared
Yeah.
just because it's so important to me. And you were the one that told me, I said, I don't understand why I would get so nervous. He said, because this means so
It
much
matters
to you.
to you.
And
That's right.
no one had ever made me realize until you said that. Oh, right.
If you're not a little nervous, it also means this doesn't carry
Right.
weight for you.
Exactly.
Right?
It's just important.
And of course, with time, things get more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, if there's not a little edge,
Yes. Be ready.
be ready.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the two hardest moments of ministry was week one of the pandemic
Oh,
in an empty room,
right.
and how do you adjust to that? And it probably took about a month, maybe 2 months, before I realized in that moment you don't have any feedback from anybody because there's nobody in the room. You're not feeding on this dialogue. It's a
Right.
monologue now. And it's no longer talking to a crowd because you're on a camera. It's like this. We're talking to you because you're at home, and it's a monologue in the sense that we're not talking to a group. We're talking to you at home. Same thing. But when you're used to preaching to a group of people, just talking to one person conveying a message is different than talking to a group, right?
True.
And then the second hardest was when things started to lighten up and we could get vaccines and we opened up again. And of course, it took a while for people to want to come back for their own reasons and safety. I totally get it. But it was also hard to be, once again, not about the health stuff, but about just being in a room with a bunch of people again.
Right.
Like that was hard too.
It was.
Because it was, we got used to doing monologues on camera.
Isolated.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's people and you're like, how do I do this? And like, I don't remember what this was like. And
Yes.
it was like first time preaching. And so, but in all of that, it is about just being able to connect, being here with you today, and just letting God work through all of that, right?
Yep.
Through the music, through the word, through all of that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we do the best we can.
Exactly.
How about we go back to Sunday and hear a song?
Let's do that.
So on Sunday at 9:30, at the end of the sermon, Martha Generelli and the choir had it was a short song, but it was a beautiful song tied to the theme of Pastor Brian's message and John Mayer's song, Waiting on the World to Change. And so we're going to go back to that choir anthem solo to listen to that. But I will tell you, when you come back, there's a super interesting story about the guy who wrote it.
Oh,
So how about that?
wow. That's good. Good little.
So let's go
teaser.
back to 9:30 on Sunday and let's take a listen. Teach me, Lord, to wait. This actually goes back to 1953.
Really?
Yeah. A gentleman who wrote it named Stuart Hamblin. This is the interesting story. The composer of this, he was 45 when he wrote this. He was a recovering alcoholic, a singing cowboy, an actor, a radio personality, and a presidential candidate in the year 1952.
No.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the presidential campaign. First of all, no one was going to beat Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Oh.
No way, no
I
how.
wondered.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And even the Democratic candidate, Adlai Stevenson, from the great state of Illinois, I'll have you know, even he, as a very qualified candidate, couldn't hold a candle to General Eisenhower,
No.
right? So, but Stuart Hamblin was not a part of either the Democratic or Republican Party. He was a third-party candidate from the Prohibition Party ticket.
Really?
Yes. And I think that party's platform alone would probably not garner a lot of votes.
Probably.
You know, we had prohibition, and as I've told you before, one cannot legislate morality. And so, okay, so you have prohibition. Guess what happened? You made a lot of money. People made a lot of money bootlegging because you can't legislate morality.
Right.
You can't. It's moral issues you can't legislate because people will find a way.
Right. Right.
So he was part of the Prohibition Party. Out of the entire nation, they did garner 72,000 votes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, when a candidate wins by millions of votes, it's very,
Yes.
very small.
Yes.
So interestingly enough, and of course, I mean, no shade, right? He's a recovering alcoholic. I can totally see why he would be a part of a Prohibition Party ticket.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Totally makes sense. So the song took shape in the early 50s as not only in recovery, but he really embraced his faith for the first time. He was kind of a new believer. And so he started to think about being a cowboy, singing cowboy and radio person. Started thinking about, how do I express my faith in what would be a hymn? And so out of that came Teach Me to Wait.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Quite the story.
Sometimes when we do this and we talk about a composer, there may be a short, well, they were a worship leader, or oh, they did this. But never have we had singing cowboy, actor, radio personality, and presidential candidate all in one, right?
Incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
So not too bad. But I will say we appreciate Keith pulling this out so that the choir and Martha could sing that
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
But there's that thing, right? Once again comes that theme that Pastor Brian talked about, patience.
Yes.
And I'm guessing there are people who have a very strong giftedness in patience.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm one of them.
Well, there's a lot of, that would be rare to be very, very, very patient.
Yeah. I'm more apt to push. Let's get things done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily go off the rails. You know, I don't lose my mind when I have to wait for something or it doesn't go my way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not explosive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if there's any way to get from A to B in the quickest amount of time, I'm going to do that.
Yes.
What can we do? How do we get this done? And I'm thinking about how I work at church here. How do we get this done? How do we accomplish this?
Right.
What do we need to do? And we watch every dollar we spend here, but at the same time, is if it's going to take a couple of bucks to get something over the finish line that we absolutely need to get done,
Right.
then sometimes maybe you got to spend a couple of bucks to get things done.
Mm-hmm. You know, society though, it's evolution, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything comes so nowadays,
Right?
so instantly you can just look at your phone and you can find out everything that's going on in the world.
That's exact. And cat videos.
Only you would say that.
Right? you know, I've joked that even my microwave isn't fast enough anymore, right? I mean, that's how life is.
Yeah.
You know, the drive-through windows are too busy. Those are supposed to speed things up, right? You know, just
Right.
like, you know, getting in line for coffee, right? You know, it's like, come on, why is there a line here? I want
Does-
to go fast, right?
Yeah. Yep. Just today.
So we all, I mean, not everybody, but I think there's a lot of us who struggle with patience, to be more patient, right? To wait. And I think we all struggle with that, and not everybody, but a lot of us do. And some of us react to it differently, of course. But what I guess I would do is I don't get angry, but I chomp at the bit. I guess is the word I would use. And so waiting for that moment. But it's interesting in other places, like for example in sermon writing. I wait for the inspiration.
You have to.
I wait for it. I
Yeah.
can't force it.
No.
And I've learned that when I do force it, the product is never as good. So I'm really good at waiting in some circumstances,
Right.
but not so good in others.
Right. You know, today I was driving and I was listening to the radio, and the host was saying something about God waits on us. God has patience with us. Thank goodness, because we're just always messing up, but God waits for us to figure it out.
That's right. You know, and you think how much God might have to wait on any one of us
Right?
to get our act together.
Oh, my whole life. I feel like I'm just barely starting to scrape the surface.
And the patience is really amazing when you think about it from God's point of view, because he will forgive us when we come and open our hearts. He will set us on a path. We will wander off that path, help us get back on that path. And then eventually there might be that insightful moment where you're like, oh, this is where God wants me.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned. This is where God is leading me.
Yep.
And we may discount the other 75 to 95 times that he had to reset all of that to get us to where we need to be,
So true.
right? So listen to this from Psalm 103. I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I put my hope. My soul waits for the Lord more than watchmen wait for the morning. And so Pastor Brian reminded us that the word wait also means patience in the Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament, right? And to hold on to that is not just to say I'm waiting for God, but I'm being patient. And even that imagery of you know, you think about cities from 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, that were walled cities, and a watchman was one of the guards up on the on the wall. And he says, my soul waits for the Lord more than watchmen, guards, wait for the morning on the parapets around a city. And I read that and I go, that's not me. I read that and go, I want to be that. I strive to be that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, Dana, but I have a 9-month-old at my house.
Oh, I do know.
You do know. So you do know about Juno.
Juno.
Yes. And there are times that this rambunctious little 9-month-old gets the best of me.
Yeah.
That sometimes, yes, I raise my voice to little old Juno because she is being rambunctious, and either she is jumping and clawing me
Right.
because she's excited,
Right.
or she's in something she should not be in.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, raising a dog, you can't have patience that they'll stop on their own.
Right.
But I might be a little too loud too soon
Yeah.
to get her attention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
luckily, she is very loving and forgives me all my my shortcomings when I'm short of patience with her.
Well, I think she was delivered to you and Rachel for that lesson.
And
in
we're learning
learning.
it. And she was abandoned at
Yeah.
1 week of age, and then she was bottle fed and raised with her litter mates until they were old enough to be weaned, and then find homes for. So she was literally abandoned at a of age, and had somebody not stepped in, she wouldn't be alive, and none of her litter mates would be
Yeah.
alive. And so, but she also, besides teaching me patience the hard way,
Yeah.
she's also teaching me the unconditional love that only a dog can give.
That's right.
And she has just learned that that she can also communicate beyond barking, because now she does that. She'll come running up at me, and yes, she jumps on the couch, leans against me, and then does this with her paw,
Oh.
which means give me love.
that is so sweet.
She's learned that this means belly rubs and pets. So she'll give me the international sign for, hey, give me some love. So
Yeah.
she'll come up on the couch, lean against me, and go, which is her saying, okay, give me some love.
I mean, what's not to love? And obviously, you have been patient enough that she loves you so
Yep.
much that she would do that.
Yep. So she comes up and she's
Yeah.
like, give me love, Dad. Give me love. So she does, and
I love that.
she is sweet, and she is also at times runs around like her fur is on fire.
Yeah.
So it's both and. As humans are complex, so can dogs be
That's
in their
right.
emotional range. But we are still walking her every night. At about 8:30 at night, we go out and walk her in a large kind of block pattern in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a mile, and we wait till the sun goes down because of the heat,
Mm-hmm.
and wear her out for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's our one moment of quiet in our chaotic life.
Yeah.
And so to go take 25 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, and just walk that in the quiet of the evening, no phones, no music, just quiet, the ability for Rachel and I to talk, and for Juno to smell the smells, you know.
See, I think that grows patience.
Yeah.
I think when you can just bring everything down, then you can pull in all of the good powers, that God can give you to be more patient.
Listen, if nothing else, it's being enacting serenity
Serenity, exactly.
to take the time and say, this is our walking time, and we're just going to go out and breathe, no matter how hot it is,
Right.
but we wait for it to be darker because of the heat on the ground for a pause,
Right.
but we wait for that heat of the day to be done, and we take that moment in peace and serenity,
Yeah.
and just go.
Yeah.
You know what she gets when we get back in from that walk?
What?
A popsicle.
Really?
Yes.
There are popsicles.
Yes. So there's this powdery stuff
Mm.
that Rachel makes,
Oh.
and then it goes into these round ice cube tray things.
Uh-huh.
And, they're full of dog nutrition. I've never
Interesting.
looked at them, different flavors. Puts them in the freezer. And then when she gets home, panting and hot, she'll get a drink of water. And then it goes in this, like, rubber holder.
Uh-huh.
So you put this, like, little round nub of a popsicle in it, and
Jeez.
you put it together.
Fancy.
So then she can work at it and
Yeah.
cool off. So she gets a little popsicle reward at the end of her walk.
Well, isn't that
Isn't that nice?
special?
Yeah. I never knew such things existed.
I didn't either.
So
And-
there are popsicles. You got to make them, but
Yeah.
Rachel's faithful in popsicle making.
Just remember, you get a popsicle, not a popsicle.
Not a
You get a
popsicle.
popsicle. She gets the popsicle.
That's right. She also likes pup cups when she goes out with Rachel.
Well,
Yeah,
what doggy doesn't?
doesn't like pup, yeah, right? So listen to this from James. Remember, James is the half brother of Jesus, and James was not a believer until his half brother rose from the dead, which would make sense, You think, it's my half brother. He's not the Son of God, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so, but after the resurrection, he was like, oh, he wasn't just saying how great he really was, right?
Yeah.
And really, for a brief amount of time, James was the head of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And there might have been some thought or idea that who would be closer to Jesus in terms of running the church than his very own half-brother.
Mm-hmm.
Logic would make you think, oh, let's keep it in the family, right?
Mhm.
And that was the only hereditary connection in the history of the church. But for a brief amount of time, he was the head of the church before he died a martyr. And I like the book of James because James doesn't really pull any punches. He's just super honest. And so I really appreciate it. And he wrote this. He said, "Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crops, how patient he is for the autumn and the spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near." So he reframes this. So first we heard about a guard or a watchman waiting for something to happen, like the sun rising. Now, a new imagery of waiting is like, be like the farmer waiting. And I grew up in Western Illinois. You know, one town over was the hog capital of the world, you know, and we had hog, it was hog country, very few cows, but it was mostly hog country, corn and soybeans. And that's what farmers grew out in Western Illinois. And being a part of the ebb and flow of rural Western Illinois, you had to wait to see, you know, are the beans coming up?
Yeah.
Say beans, it was soybeans, but that's, everybody just
Yeah.
called them beans. Or is the corn going to make it? And then he says, and how patient are they for the autumn and spring rains? You know, you can remember saying, boy, we really need some rain to help the corn along, or to finish the corn, or even we hope it doesn't rain now because the corn is drying before it's harvested. And to think about not only the uncertainty, but also the patience of farmers. And I grew up in the middle of that, remembering there was very little control.
Yes.
You plant it, you weed it, you fertilize it, and then you just hope. Because there was no irrigation or anything like that in Western Illinois. You had to rely on the grace of rain to come and water things. And hopefully there were no catastrophic storms to flatten the crops. And what a reminder to us that, the farmer says, I have very little control in this. All I can do is take care of my end of the bargain,
Yes.
but I got to wait.
Yes.
And what a reminder for us.
Absolutely.
I can remember, and I've told this story here in broadcast before, you know, growing up on the edge of a cornfield. So one of the churches my dad served was it had a parsonage, 110-year-old parsonage. It's a big old house, but it was on the edge of this small town, meaning 75 people, 100 people. No stores, no gas station, no nothing. But it was a town with a church. And we were right on the edge of town next to a cornfield. We knew who the farmer was because he was a church member. And there were moments in the heat of the summer, like July, where it was hotter than all get out. We had no air conditioning. It was a 100-year-old house. You'd have the windows open, and you're just doing your best to stay cool and try to get some sleep. Even in grade school, you're like, oh, how do I sleep in this, right? And just still no wind, and you would hear the corn rustling, because there's thousands of acres of corn, right? It's not just a field. I mean, it's acres everywhere. And what I came to realize, the farmer said, because there was so much volume of corn on a still hot night, that is the sound of corn growing.
Really?
Yeah. It is not an exaggeration. You'd never hear one or two plants doing anything, but when you have millions of corn stalks out your window, that combined noise of them growing, you could hear the rustling of the corn as it grows.
That's fascinating.
It is, and just people don't believe me when I tell that story, but it actually happens when you can quiet yourself down enough on a still night in the heat to hear the corn rustling, growing right there outside your bedroom window.
I love that.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Patience.
Patience.
And then finally, what we heard on Sunday, listen to this, Isaiah 40, we heard this already. But God gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord shall renew their strength, and they will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. And so the reminder to us is even as we wait, God's going to show up. God's going to strengthen us. And it's not under our own power. It never is.
No.
Too many people take credit for the things that God is doing.
That's true.
And I don't mean that as a judgment, but it's really
No.
true, right?
Yeah.
Is that something goes well, something goes right, and somebody says, "Oh, that's so great," and they go, "Thanks."
Right.
And I know that the work I do, I'm just a vessel. It is not, the majority of the work is not me.
And I just realized, just like the farmer.
Yeah.
Farmer is the vessel.
Vessel. Yep. And that the fruit comes
Yep.
by God and through God.
And that's what we need to remember.
Yep. And people say, great sermon. I'll say, well, give thanks to God because he's the one who gave me the ideas.
That's right.
They're not my ideas.
Totally agree.
Right?
So, I
You know,
not that I don't think you have ideas, but yes, I mean,
but in anything that we do.
anything that we do,
Yeah.
if we are going to be God's servants,
Yeah.
then we are going to realize, I hope, that it's in His glory
Yeah.
that we do this.
Right? I mean, and that can apply to any discipline. You know, Philip, you know, who plays, and and he'll tell you if you ask him. He said he's just open
Yeah.
to what God is doing in that moment and channeling it through his fingers.
Right.
So he never takes credit for that. He said, though, that's. Sometimes he'll say, "I don't even remember what I played," and he's
Exactly.
not being facetious. He's
No.
just saying, "Well, God was working in that moment. I was just a vessel in that moment." Right?
Absolutely.
And same with sermon prep. I'm just I'm
Same-
listening,
Same with singing.
right? I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting, and then I just try to keep up.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I love to try to be present in the moment
Yeah.
to experience it
Yeah.
with everybody else as God is coming through.
In and through. That's right. So patience, you'd never wait alone. And I think that's sometimes we forget that. We're not waiting for the end result, that even in the waiting, God shows up.
Absolutely.
So waiting shouldn't be as tedious as some of us, including myself, make it. We just got to remember God is in that moment, and there may be a reason for that waiting.
I kind of look forward to waiting sometimes. Knowing, take off all of the fear of needing to be in control and then say, whatever happens, I'm just going to wait. And when it happens, it was supposed to, I didn't get in the way.
That's right. That's right. And I certainly have come to the point where if I lay a plan of something, and if it doesn't turn out exactly the way I want, I've come to the point where like, well, this is the way it was meant to unfold.
Exactly.
It wasn't my plan, but I gotta run with that.
Exactly.
And I do surrender to that of saying, okay, here's the adjustment, and this is clearly the way God wanted it to be.
And
So-
be grateful.
And be grateful for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're really glad you joined us today. Dana, thanks for joining on Tuesdays and Thursdays now.
Yes, I'm thrilled.
Yeah. So tomorrow, though, don't forget we have Bible study right at 6 o'clock. So if you want to join us as I continue to teach through the Minor Prophets, you absolutely can join us online at 6 o'clock. We're going to do our best to make sure all the tech is working. We've had some issues upstairs, but we're going to make sure that all that works. And then you can join both of us here on Thursday at 3 o'clock. So 6 o'clock tomorrow for Bible study. I'll be teaching on the Minor Prophets. Then Thursday at 3 o'clock, our normal time. But because Philip's not here, we are just going to say goodbye. So God bless you. Take care. We love you. And have a great rest of your day.